countries we place sanctions on have better healthcare systems than the richest country in the world. The UN General Assembly voted on a Russian resolution to combat the glorification of Nazism, neo-Nazism, and other practices that contribute to fueling contemporary forms of racism, racial discrimination, xenophobia, and related intolerance. Well, if you are familiar with Operation Paperclip, you would not be surprised to know that America voted against the resolution to condemn Nazism. And these countries that apparently have humanitarian crises and are undemocratic, such as Venezuela, where Secretary Pompeo is trying to lead a coup, voted to condemn Nazism. So if you aren't familiar with Operation Paperclip, I recommend you look into that and find out some very interesting things that happened post-World War II in America regarding our hatred for Nazis. But Venezuela, which is apparently a threat to democracy and is being ruled by a dictator, they voted in favor of the resolution. Think about what side of history America has always been on. Look at our track record on human rights. Look at how America is treating citizens right now, and say that America is the beacon of democracy and human rights. That's just a talking point for the CIA and the Department of Defense and Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, by extension, to use to justify imperialist wars for oil, lithium, cobalt, uranium, and other natural resources. That's why we love to invade Africa and the global south and anywhere else that has something that goes into an iPhone or a Tesla battery. When we are one of two countries that vote to not condemn Nazism, while all the countries that we invade and lead coups in and imperialist wars in vote to condemn Nazism, it's a huge red flag. America is not a democracy, it's a fascist state that's clawing its way to the top at the cost of the global south, and will do anything to protect its own capitalist interests while letting its own citizens and people around the world die. For where our policy and our politics are today. Our society is much more aggressive than they would have you to believe. And frankly, I hope Russia hacks us. I hope the Russian government hacks the US government, because I have no dog in this fight. I don't identify as an American. I live in this country. So if the Russians want to go after my government, have at it. I have no love for them. They have done nothing for me. What has the American countries we place sanctions on have better healthcare systems than the richest country in the world. Now, why is that? It's because you let people who lobbied against free healthcare and paying their workers a living wage get into Washington, D.C. America continues to protect democracy and defend humanitarian rights abroad by crippling economies and imposing imperialist sanctions, deciding that Iran should not be able to buy COVID vaccines from Abdul Nasser Hamati. COVID vaccines have been purchased through official channels of the World Health Organization, but all payment methods have been blocked by the inhumane embargoes of the US government. So the US has blocked Iran from getting vaccines. This is very on par for America. Looking back at Bill's, not only his crime bill, but when he bombed a pharmaceutical factory in Sudan that caused a public health crisis, this is very on par. And guess what? Bill Clinton was a Democrat, so there's one class that is represented in DC. It doesn't matter if it puts on a red jersey or a blue. It will always lead wars and bomb innocent countries for profit margins.
Ei, tô precisando falar com você. Será que você tem tempinho pra me dar?
Tá mandando aí.
É que eu sou virgem e queria que você me descabaçasse.
Eu tô pelo morrão, com o DJ do baile aberto, um baseado. Tá ligado, né, pô? Que aqui tá tudo bem, monitorado ponta a ponta e lado a lado. Passa nada, pô. É que hoje tem baile, nós fica suave. As piranha já sabe que o fundo serra aqui. Vem que nós tá mequetrefe do lado do chefe. O Fogos avisou que o baile vai fluir. E aí, DJ, manda pra ela, cara. Aturou surta. Quando o trem bala passa, ela fica maluca. De cabelo enrolado e a Glock na cintura. Hoje nós tá pras foda e elas querem entrar. Quer entrar na vara, ficou surtada. De maconha, de lança e de balinha. Arrasta elas pra base e taquei na novinha. Elas só quer o quê? Hoje elas quer o quê? Eu tô pelo morrão, com o DJ do baile aberto, um baseado. Tá ligado, né, puto? Que aqui tá tudo bem, monitorado ponta a ponta e lado a lado. Passa nada, porra. É que hoje tem baile, nós fica suave. As piranha já sabe que o fundo serra aqui. Vem que nós tá mequetrefe do lado do chefe. O Fogos avisou que o baile vai fluir. E aí, DJ, manda pra ela, cara. Aturou surta. Quando o trem bala passa, ela fica maluca. De cabelo enrolado e a Glock na cintura. Hoje nós tá pras foda e elas querem entrar. Quer entrar na vara, ficou surtada. De maconha, de lança e de balinha. Arrasta elas pra base e taquei na novinha. Elas só quer o quê? Hoje elas quer o quê?
We got a whole lot of new money though. Raindrop, drop top, smoking on in the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Cooking up dope in the crock pot. We came from nothing to something, nigga. I don't trust nobody, grip the trigger, nobody. Call up the gang and they come and get gang. Cry me a river, give you a tissue. Bad. Cooking up dope with a my niggas is savage. We got letters and 100 rounds too. My bitch is bad. Cooking up dope with a Uzi. My niggas is savage, ruthless. We got thudders and 100 rounds too. Records on records, I'm riding around in a coupe. I take your beat right from you. Bitch, I'm a dog. Beat the whole walls. Hop in the ball. I tell you, they come for me. I swear these niggas is on the